Hello, for this lesson we're going to go over our weekly oral language challenge for the 3 sentences that you were challenged with to edit this week. So I have the 3 sentences here on our screen, and we're going to start with sentence number 1. So the first thing that we always want to do when we are editing a sentence is we want to read it and make sure that it sounds right. So make sure that all of our nouns, verbs, predicates, everything agrees with each other. Everything sounds correctly and we have the correct tense of everything. And no run-on sentences. So our first sentence reads, yesterday Nathan and Eric snowboards for 3 hours. There's a couple problems that don't sound right. First off, I have a pause in this sentence. So I need to pause somewhere, and as I'm reading it, yesterday Nathan and Eric snowboards for 3 hours. I want to pause after I explain when. So yesterday, and then I'm going to pause. So when we pause, we're going to put a little bit of a comma in there. So yesterday, Nathan and Eric snowboards for 3 hours. So that separates my sentence so it's not all running together. Something else doesn't sound right. I have yesterday Nathan and Eric snowboards for 3 hours. Well, I'm talking about yesterday, but snowboards is present tense, like they're doing it right now. So I need to turn snowboards into past tense. So I'm going to cross that out, and I'm going to type right above it. And past tense for snowboards is snowboarded. So the sentence should read, yesterday Nathan and Eric snowboarded for 3 hours. Now that sounds correct. Now I'm going to go in and check for spelling and capitalization. Well, I know that my sentences always need to start with a capital letter. So yesterday needs to be capitalized. Proper nouns such as names need to be capitalized. So Nathan and Eric really need to be capitalized. So let's go ahead and capitalize those. And everything else looks to be spelled correctly. Now if you took 3, you could take 3 and you could type out the word 3. It's up to you. It's personal preference. I'm not going to make a rule for that, whether you kept it as 3 as a number value in number form, a digit, or if you turn it into a word. So spelling and capitalization look correct, so I want to go back and look for any punctuation. And the only edit that needs to be done for this sentence for punctuation is going to be a period at the end. So I've made all my edits that need to be in this sentence. Now I can go ahead and type it up with all of my edits that I've made in it. So yesterday Nathan and Eric snowboarded, and snowboarded is spelled incorrect, for 3 hours. So I've typed up my sentence and I've double checked it, so everything looks to be correct in sentence number 1. So there's the corrections I have for sentence number 1. So let's go ahead and change the color for sentence number 2 so we don't get our edits mixed up. So sentence number 2, let's go ahead and read it and make sure it sounds correct. That's the first thing that we want to do. It says, no, my birthday is not in September, it's in May. That doesn't quite sound right. It sounds like there's too much going on in one sentence. I have a response by saying no. Then I have something saying that it's not my birthday in September, and then I have an answer saying when my birthday is. It's in May. So it sounds like there's 3 different sections to this sentence that I need to split up, either by a punctuation, ending punctuation, like a period, exclamation point, or question mark, and then there needs to be a comma somewhere in here. So no, my birthday is not in September. That sounds like one sentence. I think what I need is I need to separate my no from my response. So no, comma, my birthday is not in September. What that means is I'm going to take a pause. No, my birthday is not in September. So that's one sentence. So I'm going to put a period at the end of that. And it's in May. That's another sentence. So there needs to be a period there as well. So no, my birthday is not in September. It's in May. Now that sounds correct. Let's go back and look at capitalization spelling. I know that I need to capitalize the first word in each of my sentences, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then I'm going to look for proper nouns, names. So there's no names, but there are months, which are proper nouns, because there's only one September and there's only one May. So those need to be capitalized. Everything else seems to be spelled correctly, which is great. Now I can go in and look at punctuation. I've ended the punctuation on my two sentences, so I don't need to put any ending punctuation, but I do see a contraction, and I see its. Its is a contraction for it is, so that means I need to put a comma in there. So now if I reread my sentence, it says, no, my birthday is not in September, it's in May. So I've changed all of my edits, so now let's go ahead and retype up this sentence with all of my September, with all of my edits that I've made. So no, my birthday is not in September. It is in May, or it's in May. So great job. We have made our edits to sentence number 2. And we'll go ahead and change our color one more time and make our edits for sentence number 3. So sentence number 3 reads, Maniac McGee is one of the novels we will read this year. That sounds pretty right. Maniac McGee is one of the novels we read this year. I don't think there's any errors with run-on sentences or needing breaks in our sentence or any present tense, past tense verbs or verbs in subject agreement. So I think all of that sounds great. Let's look at capitalization spelling. Well, Maniac McGee is a book. And books are always capitalized. Every word in a book is always capitalized. And books are also underlined. So I'm going to go ahead and do that while we're thinking about it. So Maniac McGee is one of the novels we will read this year. Now it looks like all the capitalization, but there is a spelling error, and it's one. This is like I won the championship. I came in first place, but we're not talking about that type of one. We're talking about the number 1. So I need to write in the number 1 for this sentence because we want to make sure that we're talking about the right one. Haha, the right one. Maniac McGee is one of the novels we will read this year. So that looks like that's the edits for capitalization and spelling. Last, we need to look at punctuation. And the only punctuation that we need to add is a period at the end of this sentence. So now we can go ahead and we can type up our sentence with all of the edits needed. So Maniac McGee is one of the novels we will read this year. And then I'm going to go back and I'm going to underline my book title. And those are the edits you'll need for the 3 sentences for this week. Remember, I'm not expecting you to have every single edit. I just want you to try your best and learn. So in this week's challenge, we've learned that we need to be capitalizing the days of the month and names, that books need to be capitalized and underlined, and that contractions and sentences sometimes need to be broken up with apostrophes and commas. So as always, let me know if you have any questions, and have a great week.